At 9:06 a.m. in New York, the loudest sound in the entire parking lot wasn't a voice. It was a broken engine struggling to stay alive as a rusted, dented car rolled in and came to a stop, and within seconds, people started laughing because stepping out of that car was Marcus Reed, wearing a worn-out suit, shoes slightly faded, holding a single folder like it carried his entire future. And before he even reached the building, one man smirked and said, "There's no way he's here for the same interview." And another replied, "He's already failed." And Marcus heard it, every word, but didn't react, because when you've been underestimated your whole life, silence becomes your armor. But what no one in that moment realized was that this wasn't just another interview, it was a setup. And inside the waiting room, tension filled the air as candidates checked their watches, adjusted expensive suits, and sized each other up like competitors. And the whispers didn't stop, they only got louder. Jokes about Marcus's clothes, his car, even his chances. But Marcus didn't defend himself, didn't argue, he just sat quietly, observing, until something unusual caught his attention. On the table in front of them were 4 identical books, perfectly aligned, untouched, almost too deliberate to be random. And here's where everything changes. Because while everyone else ignored them, focused on impressing each other, Marcus leaned forward slowly, picked one up, and started reading, calmly, like the room didn't exist. And the reaction was instant. A few laughs, someone muttered, "What is he doing?" But Marcus didn't stop, because when you don't have much, you learn to value every moment. And what they didn't know, what none of them could see, was that upstairs, behind a dark glass panel, the company's CEO, Jonathan Hayes, was watching everything unfold on CCTV, not interested in resumes, not impressed by confidence, but searching for something far more rare: awareness, discipline, focus. And minute by minute, the difference became obvious. Because while everyone else was performing, one man was improving. And after what felt like forever, the door finally opened, and Jonathan walked in, calm, composed, scanning the room, and without asking a single question, without reviewing a single resume, he said something that instantly shifted the air. "Marcus Reed, come with me." And for a moment, no one moved, because it didn't make sense. Interviews hadn't even started yet, and one candidate stood up, confused, saying, "Wait, what about the rest of us?" And that's when Jonathan turned and said the words no one expected. The interview already happened, and pointed directly at the table. Those books were the test. And just like that, the laughter disappeared, replaced by silence. Heavy, uncomfortable silence, because in that moment, they realized they weren't being judged by what they said, but by what they noticed. And Marcus, he had already passed. But here's the part no one sees coming, because weeks later, that same broken car didn't exist anymore, replaced by something new, something earned, as Marcus walked into a high-rise office not as a candidate, but as an executive in training. His life shifting in ways no one in that room could have imagined, moving from survival to stability, from being overlooked to being respected, from silence to authority. And one afternoon, as he stepped out of a sleek new car, suited perfectly this time, he paused for a second, not to admire the success, but to remember the moment it started, when everyone laughed and he chose to focus. And that's the twist most people miss. It wasn't the job that changed his life. It was the mindset he had before he got it. So tell me, if you were in that room, would you have noticed the test or been too busy judging? If this hit you, subscribe for more powerful transformation and silent comeback stories, and comment where you're watching from.